95% of a $250 million film sat finished for over 3 years, waiting. In September 2020, James Cameron announced that 95% of Avatar: Fire and Ash had been completed. The film wouldn't release until December 2025, 5 years later. This wasn't a deliberate strategy. This was survival. In September 2017, James Cameron began production on an unprecedented undertaking, filming 4 Avatar sequels simultaneously, with a combined budget exceeding $1 billion. Fox executive chairman Lachlan Murdoch called them the most expensive movies of all time. The strategy was ruthlessly efficient. Cameron shot Avatar: The Way of Water and 95% of Fire and Ash together from 2017 to 2020, plus the first act of Avatar 4. Why? The Stranger Things effect, Cameron explained. His young actors, like Jack Champion, cast at 14, would age too much between films. I was imagining scenarios where we don't go back to work for a year and a half and we're completely screwed because he's aged out, Cameron admitted. This wasn't just back-to-back filming. It's really all one big production, Cameron said. Monday, I might be doing a scene from movie 1, and Tuesday, I'm doing a scene from movie 4. But the risk was existential. Cameron himself acknowledged the profitability threshold. Each Avatar sequel needed to hit $2 billion just to justify its existence. Disney, who acquired Fox and the Avatar franchise in a $71.3 billion deal completed March 2019, understood these films were make-or-break investments. To film underwater sequences for The Way of Water, Cameron's team pioneered motion capture technology that could work in water, a feat that required switching from infrared to ultraviolet light. The resolution leap from Avatar 2009's 2K to The Way of Water's 4K meant rendering 4 times as many pixels per frame. Costs exploded exponentially. The Way of Water's budget ballooned to an estimated $350 to $460 million. But here's the crucial detail. That budget also covered most of Fire and Ash, which was being shot simultaneously. By September 2020, Cameron confirmed 95% of Fire and Ash was complete. Principal photography wrapped in December 2020 after 3 years of continuous shooting. The film was, in Cameron's words, pretty much in the can. Then came the waiting. March 2020, COVID-19 shut down production in New Zealand. While VFX work continued at Weta Digital, the pandemic delayed everything. June 2023, the Writers Guild of America strike pushed Fire and Ash from December 2024 to December 2025, the film's 9th delay. Even though scripts were finished, Disney moved the entire Avatar slate, Avatar 4 to 2029, Avatar 5 to 2031. All told, Fire and Ash endured 9 delays over a decade. The film shifted from an original December 2015 target to December 2025. A nearly complete movie spent 5 years sitting on a hard drive. The Way of Water proved the franchise still had power. It grossed $2.32 billion worldwide in 2022, the 3rd highest grossing film ever. Disney earned $531.7 million in profit after meeting Cameron's 3rd or 4th highest grossing film in history break-even threshold. But Fire and Ash faces a different reality. Box office tracking suggests a $110 to $165 million domestic opening weekend, potentially exceeding The Way of Water's $134 million debut. Global projections range from $1.84 billion, pessimistic, assuming 20% sequel drop-off, to $2.5 billion, optimistic, banking on China's recovery. In October 2025, Cameron told Variety, "Do we make any money with Avatar 3? I mean, we'll make some money, but the question is what kind of a profit margin, if any, is there?" The stakes are existential. Avatar 4 and 5 are not greenlit, they're conditional. If we get to movie 4, if, Cameron emphasized, it all depends on whether we're successful this time. Cameron's math is brutal. With production costs spiraling and VFX expenses gone up an enormous amount, the theatrical model may no longer support Avatar-scale ambition. The franchise needs Fire and Ash to cross $1 billion minimum to continue. Some estimates suggest break-even requires $875 million, at 2.5 times the reported $250 million budget, plus marketing. The paradox is, Fire and Ash cost significantly less than The Way of Water, $250 million versus $460 million, because infrastructure and technology from the second film were reused. The underwater tech development, the 4K rendering pipeline, the motion capture systems, all amortized across both films. Cameron still questions if it's enough. At D23 in August 2024, Cameron finally revealed the title, Avatar: Fire and Ash. It replaced the leaked working title, The Seed Bearer, which had circulated since 2018. Cameron positioned Fire and Ash and The Way of Water as one complete story arc that fully resolves. Avatar 4 and 5 would be their own paired story. The July 2025 trailer reception was mixed. Euronews called it a bit naff, with commenters noting every shot looks like a desktop wallpaper. The Telegraph lamented the proud sameness and questioned if the franchise had succumbed harder than any of its contemporaries to the deathless curse of more of the same. Cameron responded before it arrived. At D23, he promised, "The new film is not what you expect, but it's definitely what you want." Here's what Cameron built. A film shot in 2017 to 2020, delayed by plague and labor strikes, sitting 95% complete for 5 years, waiting for the perfect moment. A $250 million movie that exists because of a $1 billion gamble to shoot 4 films as one. A franchise whose future depends entirely on whether audiences still care about blue people on Pandora 3 years after the last visit. Cameron made Fire and Ash to avoid the Stranger Things effect. Instead, he created the Avatar effect. A film so expensive, so technologically advanced, and so dependent on theatrical dominance that even its own director questions if the model still works. The most expensive shoot of all time was designed to save money, and even that might not be enough. Cameron filmed multiple movies to beat time. Time beat him anyway. Now he's asking if the math still works, and Hollywood is watching to see if the most successful filmmaker in history just made his biggest mistake. Avatar: Fire and Ash releases December 19th, 2025. Can a franchise this big still justify its own existence?